Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Taylor and I'll be speaking to you today about the yellow wallpaper. Within the yellow wallpaper, there were three main characters that were listed throughout the story. The main character was the narrator, who was a woman suffering from depression. She represents a woman whose voice is suppressed or not heard. Her descent into madness symbolized the destructive effect of force control over a person. The woman in the wallpaper reflects her own desire for freedom. The second character was John. He was the husband. He was a doctor and he regularly dominated her every move, her every thought throughout the day, her every activity. He did that. He believed he knew what was best for her, and dismissing her thoughts and emotions, it made her go deeper into depression. His control over her daily activities represents a society control over women. The third character was Jenny, who was John's sister. She symbolized the ideal obedient woman. Her presence reinforces that society expected women to comply with domestic roles. She was increasing the narrator's guilt and pressure, worsening her mental distress. Throughout the yellow wallpaper, I wanted to speak about three topics. One, medical authority, two, gender roles, and three, cultural authority. To fully understand the yellow wallpaper, it is essential that I explain that men were held in high regard, meaning during this period, doctors were mostly men, and they believed that they understood a woman's body and mind better than women themselves, which is completely absurd. Within the story, the husband John made all his wife's decisions. He tried to convince her that she was not sick. He implemented her treatment of confinement, banning her from socializing, writing, or thinking too much, the things that she loved. This reflects on how women were silenced rather than being treated fairly. In the past, mental illness was not taken seriously. Enforced rescue has shown that it intensified her emotional and mental distress. Would you believe that most women in the 19th century who were diagnosed with nervous conditions were suffering from postpartum depression and emotional frustration? These conditions were not properly understood and were frequently dismissed by male doctors. Thank goodness Charlotte Gilman described the rescue treatment as mental destruction. The yellow wallpaper is an example to showcase how women's mental suffering was totally misunderstood and how gender prejudice influenced medical treatments. Women's rights were mostly non-existent in the 19th century, if you could believe that, because society dictated the belief that men were naturally superior than women. This resulted in the downfall of women, how women are looked upon, and gender expectations were sadly unfair. The yellow wallpaper showcased the narrator's husband, John, as a physician. He had complete authority and control over his wife. His calm demeanor was very dismissive. He had authority over his wife's mind and body. He kept her emotionally hostage, which had a slowly decline her mental state. In many ways, the characters in the story play a large part in the understanding that the 19th century gender norms The cultural authority suggested that women and marriage are vital in securing a husband. The narrator depended on her husband John financially, and she could not challenge him because the society expected women to be seen and not heard. This is why it was so important for Charlotte to touch on these topics throughout her story. These cultural beliefs have created a negative impact on society. Many families worry about what others think. Women's specific roles, such as cooking, cleaning, taking care of children, and so much more. The story was depicted to highlight the structural limitations of women faced in the past and even to this day. Throughout this presentation, it was important that I showcase the different ways of control, gender roles, and cultural authorities. The main vocal point was the importance of mental health and how women's needs can be easily dismissed. This story reflects the beliefs and practices and expectations of its time. The rest cure treatment showed a great example of male dominance among physicians. The mental collapse of the narrator was not a tale of personal weakness, but it showed evidence of the devastating consequences of such control. This story showed the importance of women's rights and decision making. By turning her personal suffering into fiction, it allowed others to learn from her experiences. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and thank you so much. Bye bye.